What do you do when you only have 1 month and you're looking for what to study in the Bible? Well, today I'm going to give you 9 options. In case you and I haven't met yet, I'm Keith Farron, your Bible coach. My passion is helping individuals, families, and whole church communities move from should to want when it comes to reading and studying the Bible. And if that sounds like something that would help you out, you're going to want to click that little button down there so you don't miss a video. There are times when you want to find a Bible study that isn't 8 weeks or 12 weeks or a whole semester or a year-long deal or a 90-day deal. There's so many different Bible studies, but what about when you only have a month? What if you're in between two studies at your church, or you are on a summer break and you want something to do in July and something to do in August, something like that? Well, I've got 9 different options for you. Option number 1, read a proverb a day. Now, if the month that you're doing this is one of the months that has 31 days in it, then it's perfect because the book of Proverbs has 31 chapters. So I've known many people who have done this proverb a day in addition to any other study, because to read a proverb is going to take you probably between 3 and 5 minutes. Now, if you're doing that as your only study, then you can pick a section of it, pick one of the verses, pick a couple to meditate more deeply on. This is probably the most popular 1 month Bible study method that I've heard about since I was a kid. And it's popular because it's good. So option number 1, read a proverb a day. Option number 2, read a short book of the Bible. Now, did you know that more than half of the books of the Bible can be read in their entirety in under 30 minutes? There are more short books of the Bible than there are long books of the Bible. Pick one of them and soak in it for a month. Now, the process that you could do, I have written my whole Bible study course, Relational Bible Study, on taking a book of the Bible and diving deeply for 2 months. You can certainly check that out in the link below, but you can do a modified version of that completely on your own. Just take a short book of the Bible and spend the first week just reading it. Just reading it. I consider that the watching the movie before you study the scenes. Just watch the movie for a week. Just read it, pray through it, look at big themes, figure out the tone, the feel of the letter, maybe look at some of the background of who wrote it. I talk about the author, the audience, and the atmosphere. I'll do a whole nother video on those 3, but those are great background studies. Who wrote the book? To whom was it written? And what was going on at the time? That can be a good first week. Then after you've done that, then it's time to study the scenes. Take a look at a few verses or a paragraph. Look at the natural breaks and divide that up. If you're reading, 7 days a week, then that can be even smaller chunks that you're praying through and meditating on and seeing if there's any application or inspiration or comfort or anything from there. And if you're reading 4 or 5 times a day, then maybe you're going to take a little bit longer chunk, but take the next 2 weeks and walk through that short book a little bit each day. Then take the final week of the month and go back to reading the whole thing, or maybe some of the parts that really stood out to you from either the themes you identified in week 1 or the parts that you studied more deeply in weeks 2 or 3. You might want to revisit some of those and spend some more time praying through those. So option number 2 is read one short book. Oh, you might be wondering, what are some good suggestions? I recommend either Ephesians, Philippians, or 2 Timothy. 2 reasons. 1, as I mentioned, they're short. The longest of those is Ephesians, and it will take you a whopping 18 minutes. 2 Timothy will only take you 12. And the other reason is that all 3 of those books have a lot of verses you've probably heard out of context and didn't know where they came from. Well, I tell people that studying those 3 books it's like putting flesh on a skeleton you already know. You know pieces of it, but you get to put the whole thing together. So those 3 books are really fun. Plus, they have amazing messages. So option number 2, read a short book of the Bible. Option number 3 is similar, and that is do that 1 week, watch the movie overview for 4 short books of the Bible. Maybe you take 4 of Paul's letters, or maybe you take, one of Paul's letters, one of Peter's letters, First, Second Peter, maybe and then one of John's, like First John, and then you take the book of James. Maybe you take one of those and you just read in it, just soak in it, read the whole thing each day. You're not doing a deep study if you choose this option. You're just getting that big picture overview. And maybe that will trigger for you which one of those 4 books you want to dive more deeply into next time. Option number 4, pick 2 of the minor prophets to read each week. Now, of the minor prophets are about 12 books toward the end of the Bible that largely get ignored. The exception is Jonah. We kind of like the story of Jonah, but there are so many others that people oftentimes don't even recognize the names of: Zephaniah, Zechariah, Haggai, right? There are these different books that just get ignored, and yet they have fantastic messages. Many of those are really, really short. They're going to take you 10 minutes to read. Some are even going to take shorter than that. There are a couple of them that you might want to spread out over 2 days, might take half an hour to read or something like that. But if you take 2 of them over the course of the week, you could read each of those 2 books a couple times, do a little background on it, look at the context of it, what was happening with the nation of Israel. A lot of those were written during the times when the nation of Israel was in exile in Babylon. Getting that handle for a month on 8 of those books can be really helpful. You can also do 3 a week if you want, and kind of cover them all. So option number 4 is to read some of the minor prophets. Option number 5 is soaking in the Psalms. Now, the Psalms, there are 150 Psalms. That sounds like a lot, but most Psalms take under a minute to read. So if you take 5 Psalms each day, you're going to be reading, because some are a little bit longer, some are a little bit shorter, but you're going to be reading somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 minutes a day, maybe up to 15. But take 5 Psalms a day, reading for the course of 30 days, and you'll walk through all of Psalms. And over the course of that month, Psalms, I've said, you can certainly study the book of Psalms, but I feel like Psalms is a book to be experienced as much as it is to be studied. Should do a whole nother video on how to study the Psalms in a way that helps us connect with the emotion of the reader, because much of what you find in the book of Psalms are lyrics to songs and poetry. And those, they can be studied, but they are meant to be experienced. They cover the whole breadth of emotion of the Christian experience. So soaking in the Psalms for a month is always a good decision. Options 6 and 7 kind of go hand in hand. Option 6 is to read a gospel a week. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the first 4 books of the New Testament, are each an account of the life of Jesus from a different perspective. And so taking Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and reading each one for a week is a great way to spend a month. Again, you're not doing a deep study of a gospel at that point. You're going to want 2 to 4 months for something like that. But to get that overview, to get that big picture of the life of Jesus, man, to take each of the gospels. Now, the longest gospel is Matthew, has 28 verses, takes a little bit more than 2 hours to read. Well, you divide that by 7 days, and you're talking probably right around 20 minutes. So if you give 25 to 30 minutes a day to your reading, and you happen to miss a day or 2, you'll still finish each gospel in under a week. So that is option number 6. Option number 7 is to take one gospel and read it each of the 4 weeks. So you're picking one of the gospels and you're reading it each week. And I suggest in a different translation. So maybe your go-to translation is the CSB, the Christian Standard Bible, and you read that for week 1. Then week 2, read the NIV or the ESV or the NLT or the KJV, or paraphrase like the Message or the Voice Bible. There are so many good translations out there, and reading it will give you a little bit of nuance. Kind of like when somebody tells a story about a party you went to and 2 different people tell the story. They just focus on some different things and emphasize some different things. They might be talking about the same event, but the more that you hear people talk about that event, the more that you will understand. And so Reading each of the Gospels can give you that perspective if you're choosing option 6. But for option 7, even just the different translations, different words that get emphasized, different phrases that get used will help new things stand out. And I would even suggest one of your weeks, listen to it. Pick pick a version and listen to it. You can find there are some fantastic apps out there. Like the Dwell app is one of my favorite audio Bible apps, but even the YouVersion Bible app has almost every translation you can think of and has the audio Bible for free. So listen to it one of the weeks, pick 3 different translations for the other weeks, and soak in one gospel for 1 month. Option 8 is to just focus on the beginning. Focus on Genesis and Exodus. Genesis is 50 chapters, Exodus is 40, so you've got about 90 chapters. So you're looking at about 3 chapters a day. Reading 3 chapters a day, on average, you're going to be talking about 12 to 15 minutes of actual reading. Again, you're getting an overview. This is the watching the movie. This is not a deep study. This is a 1 month read through. And you're just taking that month and you're looking at how it all began. And this will take you you'll cover a lot of ground. It'll be amazing. If you just read those 3 to 4 chapters a day, you'll be amazed at how much ground you cover. You're going to cover creation, and you're going to cover Abraham, and you're going to cover Moses, and all those. And in between there, you still have Joseph and his brothers and all that happened there. And you got the Exodus and being delivered from Pharaoh. I mean, there's so much. It's just great drama, as well as giving you a picture of how it all started and God's character and patience and love and forgiveness and grace from the very beginning. So option 8 is Genesis and Exodus for 1 month. All right, last one. Option 9 is to take a look at the 13 letters of Paul. The 13 letters of Paul, if you can just do a Google search, or I'll put it down below in the notes of what those letters are. Some people add a 14th. Some people think that Hebrews was written by Paul. Hebrews written anonymously. Might have been Paul, might not have been Paul. But there are 13 letters that are attributed to the Apostle Paul. And take those letters. Again, most of them are going to take you between 10 and 15, 16, 17, 18 minutes to read. And total, all of Paul's writing, you have 87 chapters. So again, you're reading a little bit less than 3 chapters a day. Now, my suggestion there is, if you have so many of his books, right? Philippians, Colossians, 2 Timothy, so many books are 4 chapters, maybe 6 chapters. And it's a good idea to take those books and just read them in a day. And then some books like Romans, 1 Corinthians, some of these books that are longer, 16 chapters, are ones that you can split up over 2 or 3 days. But the shorter ones, if they're 4, don't just go 3 chapters, 3 chapters, 3 chapters. Try to break at some natural spots. But taking a month and just doing an overview of the writing of Paul will be very, very encouraging and beneficial for you. There are 9 options for you to read in when you only have a month. I would love to know in the comments if you have some other ideas for 1 month studies. And if you pick one of these studies, let me know that too. Oh, and by the way, I decided to put a link down there below with a 1-page kind of cheat sheet PDF of those 9, so that you can just have that. Don't have to keep coming back to this video. So if you'd like a copy of that, just click that link and I'm happy to send it to you. All right. I will see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe, and share it with a friend who you think might benefit. God bless. We will see you.